So when it comes to hair and makeup, Studio 5 style and beauty contributor Megan Moore definitely knows her stuff. With more than 20 years working as a stylist, owning her own salon, and blogging over at the Beauty Snoop, Megan has dedicated much of her life to helping women be and feel their best selves. And today we've invited her to share the beauty values that matter most to her in our Studio 5 Convince Me series. Megan joining me in studio to share, which I don't know if you know, but you actually were part of the inspiration behind this entire series.
Well, you told me that, but I'd love to know why.
The premise being our contributors are the best in the business. They are experts in their field, and sometimes you say things repeatedly, but like really you want people to embrace those ideas and embrace that advice. And so it was a chance to kind of recap the best of the best. Yeah. Although you surprised us with this one, Megan, because we were expecting ditch the black eyeliner, switch out your powder blush for cream blush. But I'm told through our producer that this was kind of an emotional exercise for you.
Yeah, I mean, I could have gone that route, right? I could have given you 5 beauty products that I swear by and whatever, but you hear that from me all the time. But really, I was going through this and I thought, the things I care about the most and the things that I wish women knew, they're deeper than that. They're not surface level. It goes deeper than that. And so it was emotional. I was like getting teary when I was typing this out because it's something I really deeply care about.
These are your core beauty values.
Yes.
And you do hear this reflected in everything you say, though sometimes you're right. I think the attention goes to the product or the application. But we're hitting where it counts today. Your first core value, the only way to improve your skills is to experiment.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't just wake up one day and be better at makeup, right? Like you have to sit down, and I would say physically sit down because it will give you the time to actually try new things, but you have to try, you have to practice. You're not just gonna wake up one day and be like, oh, I'm so good at this now, right? Like it takes time, it takes skill, and you develop that skill, right?
Yeah.
And I would say you don't even have to buy new things. I would say the biggest thing I've learned with experimenting is putting things on in a different order. Shifting the way you apply your makeup or your hair products or how the order in which you put it makes a big difference. So there's a big trend right now on social media of putting your contour on first and then your foundation. So it's underneath. They call it underpainting. Somebody just came up with that and was like, I'm just going to try it in a different order, and it can give you completely different results. So take the time to experiment. It's the only way to get better.
Well, with that experimentation, too, you've been so great over the years to throw out beauty challenges.
Yeah.
And that kind of underscores the fun of makeup and beauty and just encouraging women to play. Why not?
Yeah, it should be fun. Otherwise, you won't want to do it.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Core beauty belief number 2, there is power in getting ready.
Yeah, this one's big, and this is probably the one that makes me feel emotional. There really is something about making yourself feel better on the outside that does affect the inside, and I've seen it time and time again, right? As a hairstylist, I see women come into the salon feeling overwhelmed, feeling tired, feeling sad. Maybe somebody in their life is missing or has passed away. There's just hard things. You sit down and take an hour for yourself, and I can physically see a change happen. And when you're a mom, you're exhausted and you're tired, but that 10 minutes to put on a little bit of mascara, even if nobody else is gonna see you, it just makes you feel better. And that power is something that we all need. And it's deeper than just surface level.
You can't remove your spirit from your body.
No.
At least in this life. They're interconnected. So I support that power, and I'll try to be brief here. We want to hear your words, not mine. But I remember as a teenager, I went to, I think, a youth fireside of some sort, and the woman who was speaking was a quadriplegic and had spent much of her life observing other people. And she said, I've observed the secret to being popular, which to a 13-year-old girl, you're like, oh, please tell me, please tell me more. But she went on to say, if you can spend just what you described, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, feeling your best. Like your clothes don't have to be the best name brand, but make them clean, press them, whatever. You know, you don't have to spend an hour on a glam face, but just pull yourself together and then walk out of your house and don't look in a mirror the rest of the day. The idea being when you feel centered, you can then give yourself in more impactful ways to other people. And that stuck with me. It wasn't popular necessarily, but it tapped into that power that you're talking about to be able to feel confident and then share that light with others.
Absolutely. I think self-care is a tool, and we can use it to help us do all the other things on our list, right? There's no shame in taking time to take care of yourself so that you can tackle everything else.
Amen, sister. You want us to enhance, but always come back to our baseline. What does that mean?
Okay, so this one's big for me. So your baseline is your natural beauty. It's how you look with nothing on. It's how you were born. It's how God made you, right? And anytime we participate in beauty enhancements, and for this topic, I would say things that are a little bit more semi-permanent, meaning things like Botox, fillers, lash extensions, hair extensions, things that don't come off at the end of the day, right? Anytime we participate in those, we move away from our baseline just a little bit, right? And that's fine, that's great. I participate in all of these things heavily. I love all these things. But the tricky thing is if we don't come back to our baseline in between and we start building from here, and then from here, and then from here, to us, it's incremental. We see the change over time. But sometimes you run into somebody you haven't seen in 5 years and you're like, whoa, they look so different,
What
right?
happened?
What happened? Because to them, it was very drastic. So I always say, if you're gonna do Botox, great, but let it wear all the way off before you do it again.
I think that's so wise.
Right? Or cap yourself. Like I do 40 units of Botox. The next time I go in, I'm not gonna be like, hey, let's try 60, right? Because then it starts to be a slippery slope.
It's a total slippery slope, and especially, I'm going to say it, the two things that I think women slide a little faster on are lips and lashes.
Yes.
And so having a good girlfriend, right, or a good husband that can keep you in check, but I love that. Return to your baseline.
Yes.
Like embrace your natural beauty.
Because you're not going to see it at the end of the night when you scrub your face, and so that becomes your new normal.
Yes.
You've got to let it come back to your baseline to stay true to who you are.
I've never formalized those thoughts, but you just described perfectly how I feel as well. You're never too old, but your beauty routine is meant to evolve.
It is. I hear this a lot. I'm too old. I'm too old. And I will say I disagree. You're never too old, but it isn't realistic to think that you would be wearing the same makeup or hair that you wore when you were 20 and now you're 50, right? We need to evolve and change. And I think sometimes that involves letting go of some things we did in the past. And this comes into play when I talk about the eyeliner, right? When we were 20 and we wanted to look 25, the first thing we did was rim our eye in liner because it instantly aged us up. Well, there comes a point where that no longer serves us anymore, right? And it's okay to let go of that. It's okay to say, look, you know, my skin texture isn't the way it used to be. And that might be hard for me to you know, take, but you know what, my cheekbones are still really great. So I'm gonna focus on my cheekbones, right? So let yourself evolve and grow just the same as you do with your clothes or your house or anything else as you age.
Well said. 30 seconds left. Always start with less.
Oh, this is a big one, right? Less is more. I think we're in a gimme, 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 I want it all. I want to pile on 10 products. I want, if the product of the back of the bottle says 1 spray, well, 3 is probably better, right?
I'm guilty.
Or if my flat iron goes to 450 degrees, I should probably start there, right? No, we bake cookies at less than that, right? It's crazy. Start with less. You know, you've always done 4 pumps of foundation. Have you tried 2 just to see what happens?
Yeah.
Start with less. You can always add more, but sometimes we just reach for everything and just pile it all on, and it's unnecessary. So less is always more.
I love you. I loved this. Well done. Way to
Thank
hit
you.
it home. That's fantastic. Where can we get more advice from you?
TheBeautySnoop.com, of course, and then come hang out with me on Instagram @BeautySnoop.
It's a good follow. Make sure you're doing it.